According to who? And this evening, I wanted to share with you a personal experience that I had today, and then there's some few bullet points that I wanted to talk about for men in the modern society. So today, I went to downtown San Diego, and I was going to a comedy show at 7 o'clock that starts. And I was walking in Gaslamp district of San Diego, downtown. And there's a bar, restaurant on my way walking there. There's a girl that works there as a guest host. She and we met at my gym that I work out. I go to the gym every single day. I work out there, I see her there, and we add each other on Instagram. And she checks my story all the time, pretty much every single post. And I don't know what situation with her thoughts of me. So today, on my way there, I saw her and her coworker that's working in the front, and I went over to say hi. And just me being friendly, I will say hi to anybody, elderly, men, women, people I'm familiar, I have talked to in the past, or I know. I tend to just go over and say hi. And I don't feel there's anything wrong with me doing that. When I went over, her name is Elena. She showed like this discomfort, also kind of like unwilling to talk to me, which is okay. I mean, everybody has their own preference and boundary. It was just shocking for me that I just went over to say hi, and she made an excuse to leave. And then her coworker was like, "Hey man, you need to leave. You are making her uncomfortable." And then she also said she's not interested, which I feel like a lot of women tend to use those words a lot. Not interested, or you're making me uncomfortable. My thought is, I was just surprised and sort of like shocked and confused, because she is someone that I've seen at the gym before, and we're connected on Instagram. She checks my story all the time. I just went over to say hi. Number one, I'm not a stalker, and I wasn't hitting on her, and I wasn't saying anything inappropriate. I was just going over to say hi. And she made that kind of like excuse to leave the situation and make me feel like I am someone who's stalking her or a pervert or something like that, which I'm not. I was on my way to the comedy show, to an event. I happened to see someone that I've seen, I met before. I just went over to say hi. And it's confusing and frustrating on my end as well, because I didn't do anything wrong. Now, why she does that, I am not sure. Not communicating, just leave the situation. It's kind of like I'm hitting on her or something. Anyway, so that's my experience. And the coworker say those few statements. She's not interested. You're making her uncomfortable. And so what I told that coworker is, like, I really don't give a fuck how you guys feel right now. I'm just coming over to say hi. I didn't do anything wrong. You don't want to say hi, that's totally okay. But you're making the statement makes me look like I am someone who is pursuing her, or I am somebody who is just like stalking her. And those kind of statements, when girls say that, is a lot more powerful than when a guy say that. So when a girl say statements like that, general public tend to quickly stand on their side without really evaluating the situation. They tend to stay on the woman's side. So they can just say things like that anytime. Oh, I'm not comfortable. You're making me uncomfortable. You're whatever. And then general public tend to just like believe them and support them without really evaluating what exactly going on with the two parties. So that kind of like makes me think about certain things. I ponder and observe the society and how my perspective of what is going on in the man-woman social interactions. So there are like a few things that I wanted to kind of like point out. I just wrote a few bullet points. So everything I say is coming from my heart. I wanted to express what I am really kind of like thinking, and I feel the challenges men are facing and dealing with in this modern days. So one bullet point I said is men are being falsely accused by certain women. There are a lot of great women, very ethical, but sometimes there are some women who leverage their power, they leverage their social stance to take advantage of men and falsely accuse them. One example would be about one of my friend. He's currently in felony, and he went to jail. Recently got out of the jail. He got bailed. He spent a lot of money to bail himself out over something with his ex baby's mom, that she was in his car. They were maybe struggling over a key. She wanted to use his car, and he doesn't want her to use it, or something like that. I'm not 100% clear of the situation. So something happened, like her finger got jammed by the door of the car, and then she reported to the police, and then police came and arrested him. He's also a cop himself. His gun got taken away, and he has to spend a lot of money on lawyer fee, getting bailed out. So I feel like the society tend to stay on the women's side so much quicker than on men. I feel like back then, men abuse their wife. They tend to have more power back then. Now I feel like this power dynamic, it's shifted on the other spectrum. Women are getting a lot more of that power, and it's the imbalance that I tend to see. Also, a couple of days ago, a friend that I met in Arizona last year, so we're connected on Facebook, and then he was chatting with me, and we talked about dating. He told me that he went on dates with women, and in the past he spent money on them, treated them out for dinner, and later finding out that the women went out with him are only there for his money, only there for his free meal, while she's having sex with her neighbor who lives with his mom. And he also found out that he is just one of the guy that she went out with for the week to have dinner with. And that made me pretty upset because I feel a lot of good guys are being taken advantage by women. And it's unfair. And those good guys, they have good intentions. They want to find a girlfriend and start a family. And unfortunately, there are women who are like that out there who just want to take advantage of guys for their money, for their gifts. I know another guy, he's a professor at UCSD, a tenured professor, divorced, now single. He buys gifts for women, for girls that he like. I feel like another point I want to point out is, now that I'm getting to that part of the conversation, is men tend to put women on a social pedestal a lot. It's not exclusively women's fault or responsibility, like certain women, not all, that take advantage of men. It's because men are giving them the power. Men are giving women the leverage so they can behave a certain way. Why do you have to buy gifts for women? Why do you have to take them out for dinner? Really, why? I feel like a lot of guys tend to care a lot on the outside physical, and me being on social media, I see a lot of memes where men tend to just drool over women who are somewhat attractive, and kind of like lower down their own value. They would do whatever just to go on a date with a woman. They would spend a lot of money just to keep a woman. And that I find imbalance. I feel women, there's the outside beauty. Sure, there's also guys who is also very handsome, physical appearance. There's also the internal value, her intelligence, her personality, that is also super important. I feel like guys tend to only look at the exterior. Even, when we joke around, guys tend to joke around on the physical beauty and they just lust over girls just because of their physical beauty. And that creates imbalance in the society where women who are somewhat attractive, they feel like they are very high class. They're really high up there. If you are just the average guy, they don't even want to date you because they create this self-image that they deserve the best of the best. And I feel like it's like an inflated value created by men that tend to overly obsess with the physical beauty of women. It's important. I like it too, but there's other qualities that creates somebody who is attractive. It's not just physical itself. And I cannot stand a girl who is just physical beauty, but then her personality is shit. Cannot stand it. It's not what I want. It's not what I look for. I think there's more to a woman's beauty than just the physical part. Any other experiences? So I written down, I said men are also responsible for our own behavior, for our own self-respect and value. I feel like a lot of men are just easily distracted with women, with pornography, with social media, Instagram, on TikTok. Some guys, when you go on their search, they tend to have beautiful women in their bikini, etc. Oh, and OnlyFans. A lot of guys subscribe to that. That I also feel is a way of inflating women's value on the beauty side, on the physical side. Last message will be, instead focusing on chasing after women, chasing after beauty, going after many dates, focus on building yourself. Work on empowering yourself. Go to the gym. Get fit. Work on your fitness. Work on your mental health. Work on your career. When I was in college, that was like several years ago, I already noticed that there was more female students than male. And they tend to do better in academic. It's because they are focused. A lot of men were easily distracted. Learn to have some self-respect, self-value. You don't necessarily have to go lust over girls just because they are pretty. I think that's pretty much it. Basically, from today's experience is that I learned my emotions, men's emotions, are also valuable. And when we share our thoughts, share our challenges, we sometimes tend to get ignored. And we don't have a big support system compared to females. Men tend to keep things to themselves. The challenges, the struggle, stress. You gotta man up and keep it to yourself. Whereas women, they tend to share it with each other. They talk about it. And they have a good support system. It's not that I am challenging, competing with women. I believe both sides, it's good to learn to respect one another. I would say it's a lot of like men's side. We got to take responsibility for ourselves. We have to take responsibility for our own career, for our own development. And don't easily get distracted. Have values. Sometimes certain guys will stick around with a girl just because she's pretty, even though she is just there to take his money. And he's okay with that. And that just doesn't really make much sense for me. I think it's important to find someone attractive physically, but in a long-term relationship, it's also very important that you share similar value, and she's family oriented and she takes good care of your kids. So yeah, that's what I have to share for today. Thanks for watching. It's my first YouTube video that I'm sharing my thoughts. Thank you.